So first things first, Georgia, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm in Amsterdam.
That's good.
Yeah.
So before we talk about the record, I'd like to jump back to the beginning quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know when this might be difficult to pinpoint, but when your infatuation with music began?
I actually think from my earliest memories were running around the lounge room listening to the music that my dad would blast in the lounge room. So I think from then on I just started really getting into music. And I always remember as a kid singing my own melodies to myself. Like always humming songs or like humming melodies over other songs.
Okay.
So yeah, I think from a child I always loved music.
What kind of music was played around the house?
My dad would blast Green Day, The Clash, The Cure, Rancid. Then my mum would blast like Nora Jones and All Saints and like stuff like that. So I had a bit of a diverse mix there.
Did you gravitate any which way at some point as you grew older?
Not really. I my whole life have liked a lot of music, different genres. I think my dad's influence made me dig rock kind of bass music, and the first bands I played in were definitely rock driven. But then I grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, so the top 20 then was kind of more like R&B kind of feel, and I've always dug that as well. I think for my ears what I like is just catchy melodies. So a lot of songs, that's what songs are made up of, melodies. So yeah.
Before you kind of discovered the drums, did you want to be a singer then? Did you have
I actually remember my dad asking me when I was 5 or 6, what do you want to be when you're older? And I said a singer or an actress. As I think I was 5 or 6 or 7. But then as soon as I got given a drum kit when I was 9, drums became a quick obsession, and I was obsessed with drums. And then I started writing my own music, and then it's funny that now I am kind of a singer, because that's what I kind of wanted to be when I was 5, and now it's come back to that. But I had my little drum career before I had this project.
And you mentioned the melody, so once you discovered the drum kit and rhythm, how did that change your approach to music?
Well, I think being a drummer, in all my songs, I can hear it. I'm not sure if the listeners can hear it, but I do hear a lot of rhythmic based stuff in the melodies that I write. Even in my singing melodies, it's more stagnant and rhythmical, because I think I have a drum background. The second verse in About You, it's yeah, we got crazy, yeah, did phase when we just went and took off. It's rhythmic based. It's not singing. So I feel in a lot of my music you can kind of hear rhythmical traits. But yeah, of course it's up to the listener's ear how they interpret it and hear my songwriting, I guess.
Right. You mentioned you've written your own songs and melodies as long as you can remember. So when you were touring as a drummer, where was songwriting for you?
When I was touring as a drummer, I didn't really write too much. I didn't show many people my songs when I was in the band I was in called Emperor. I didn't write any of their music. I didn't even show them that I could really write songs.
Why not?
I don't know. I was a bit shy about it. I didn't really like singing in front of people just by myself. I would happily sing backing vocals with the band I was playing in. The only people that I'd show my songs to were my best friends and my family. So they'd hear some songs that I'd just written with guitar or piano. But I never really had the confidence and really went to it till after I finished with Emperor and playing drums with them. And I played with bands before Emperor as well. I played with bands since I was like 14.
But am I right in saying that when Emperor kind of went on a hiatus or kind of died down, that you were already thinking of was it at the same time that you thought, well, I actually want to do my own thing?
I've kind of, it's like been a built-up thing. It's like I've kind of always thought I could do a solo project. I think being on stage as a drummer my whole life, I've been like getting the confidence on stage and singing in front of people, and then watching the people in front of me playing and realizing, oh, I could do that. Just depends if I can write good enough songs. It's always about the songwriting for me. So once Emperor finished, it was kind of like, I think I've got the confidence now. I think I've like been on stage enough and kind of know what direction I want to go in. And I already, by the time Emperor was finished, I had already like a handful of songs that I had written. And then it was just about learning how to produce, and then just like focusing on my songwriting and trying to put this like idea of this project together.
You say you already had some songs written, so where do they come from for you? Is it based on your own experiences? What?
Yeah, so most of my songs come from relationships. Okay. I always write about relationships, like all the ups and downs, every like little corner and crevice of a relationship I seem to write songs about. Some of my songs before that, like while I was with Emperor, were more about like drinking and partying a little bit, and like more about my surroundings. It's always kind of about what's going on around me. And then the songs that I wrote when I was like 14 and 15 and 16 were like about crushes that I had, or like the person I was seeing, or like, you know, something that's going on in the environment around me. So I always like, it's kind of personal based stuff. I haven't actually written a song from the perspective of someone else, which maybe will come later.
But I find that interesting, because when you delve into relationship, and especially your own relationships, do you feel now that going through a lot of those songs that you've gotten better at being in a relationship, or have kind of figured it out?
Not really. I feel like the songs that I write, as soon as I listen back to them, it just pinpoints a story in my life. Like I can listen to a song that I've written like about you, and I remember exactly like what I was feeling that day. And then Killing My Time, I remember exactly what I was feeling that week and what was going through my head. And then when it came to writing the song, then it's just literally what was going on around me. So it's kind of like whatever I'm feeling that week or that day, then that's what I guess comes out naturally. Because that's the last thing that's on my brain. Right.
So let's take that song then, About You. What kind of, you don't have to go into too much detail, but what kind of mind space were you in?
I was definitely in like a up and down situation where it was like I wasn't sure if me and this person were going to get back together or not. Like we've been on ups and downs, like kind of like it's kind of this like tired feeling, like what are we doing? Like just what are we doing? I'm thinking about you all the time, like, and are you going to give me one more chance, or are you going to let me go? And that's kind of in the lyrics. And like the second verse, I kind of paint the story with lyrics. So yeah, it's just like about an up and down relationship. And I was like feeling pretty shit. I was pretty brokenhearted at that time, during that space, like early last year. Around that time, I wrote a lot of like heartbreaky kind of vibe songs.
Well, I wanted to save this for later, but Killing My Time, is that about the same kind of situation?
Yeah, it's about another relationship situation, about someone that you care about so much, and that's just so like almost like seductive, and like just you feel like you're wasting your time because you like just want to stay in bed with that person and just like be with that person, and then it's causing you to not be focused. So it's like killing my time.
Okay, because well, I interpreted it differently, but because
How did you interpret
well,
it?
I thought maybe it was the same about the same situation as about you, where you think, well, I'm just waiting for this person, but and I'm killing my time and by kind of wanting your body when I know it's not gonna.
Oh, I guess you can interpret it that way.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
mind. I sometimes project stuff on it.
No.
But going back to about you then, because I wrote a line down from it. We're just living off pages. This book is for the ages. Where did that line come from?
It came from, so me and this relationship, me and this person, we'd always say like, what's going on in our lives is like a story. We'd always say that, like, and me and this relationship, it feels like it's in chapters, because we were living on different parts of the world. And it's like we'd be back together, then we'd be off, then we'd be back together, then we'd be off. And so like we'd say to each other, oh, I guess this is chapter 2, because we'd be back together again, and then we'd be off, and then we'd be like, oh, it's chapter 3. And it was kind of like our relationship, we think of it as like we're living off pages. It's like a story. It's like this up and down story. And that's how those lines came about.
You say you were heartbroken around that time.
Yeah.
So did it help writing a song about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like a little bit therapeutic. I feel like other people would be like, yes, it's therapeutic. For me, it's not like, oh my God, I feel better. I still feel heartbroken. Like, I wrote the song and it's not like that cured me. Like, I remember that time was still feeling heartbroken. 2 days after or 3 days, like the day after About You, I wrote another heartbroken song. Like, so it didn't cure me. I feel a lot, so I feel like writing music is just like all I do. I don't really have a hobby, so it's like all I know what to do. And I just like to make myself like feel better, I just go play piano or I just go play guitar. And then if I just start singing, then that's how my songs kind of come together. I just play sounds and then sing melodies over the top. And then that's how my songs come together. And normally every time when I just kind of like spit melodies, the words that I'm saying actually make sense. And then it's about what's been happening in that week or how I'm feeling right then and there. So then that's kind of how my tunes come together.